Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. D Oracle. Today I wanted to do a reading on Miss Regina King. She lost her only son this week to suicide. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, she has a lot of questions about what's happening. And so do we. So as we sit here today, let us gain some type of clarity and closure, so that we can understand what has really happened. And let us look into the mindset of what happens when someone decides to end it all, okay? What makes that their solution or a logical answer for them? We'll look at that today as we go into this tarot reading. I'm going to be using my regular tarot cards as well as my dark mirror deck, okay? So that we can understand a little bit more about his demons, okay? And what drove him to see that taking his own life would be a solution. Make sure you click that like and that subscribe button if you enjoy the content of my channel, and we're just going to get right into it. His number's 12, so let's see, 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that 8 wands is coming up along with the Knight of Swords, which the Knight of Swords usually means a male between the ages of 20 and 35. Okay, so we see that spirit's coming through on that. We also are getting the Moon card. Oh, the Moon card. You know, the Moon card really magnifies to us when a person has some sort of mental illness or issue with mood or anxiety. Okay. Oh, the King of Coins inverted. The King of Pentacles inverted. This is usually about money. Okay. And how that relates to character. So that's going to be interesting, as well as the Star card inverted. We also are getting the Knight of Wands, 4 of Swords, and these are root issue cards. 8 of Swords, okay, which definitely represents a lot of stress, being tied down, being or feeling trapped. The next card, oh, the Hangman's coming out. The Hangman's coming out. This is usually a crossroads card, so that shows, you know, crossing over to the other side. And the last card that we have is the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups. So let's see what Spirit is saying here about Regina King's son. May his soul rest in peace. As we try to channel his life for some type of solid wisdom, okay, so that we can understand what's happening a little bit more in our communities with suicide. So the 8 of Staffs comes up. Now this 8 of Staffs represents speed, hastiness, or progress, okay? Basically getting to the next level, or, you know, just doing a lot of hard work to try to get to where you want to be in life. All of those wands represent accomplishment, okay, and desiring to have that within your reach, okay. So that's what we're looking at with the 8 of Staffs. So when I see this card, there's a message from Spirit of really not being able to accomplish all that you want to, or being all that you want to be, okay? And so you kind of make some hasty decisions, okay? So that's what that card represents. I'll have to say that Spirit is on time with that, okay? Because I do feel like there's an issue with him just kind of sort of not being able to reach his greatest and his highest potential, okay? So when we get to the Knight of Swords, now these types of court cards, they actually tell about a person and what their mindset is. And this is in reference to the problem, okay? Again, this card is one of big changes and trying to seize the opportunity, okay? This card represents a male 20 to 35 years old. He usually has a strong personality. He's quick-witted. He's a fast thinker, okay? That's going to be very important. So remember that, fast thinker. But he's also a fast talker, intelligent, daring, and he's rebellious. Now, I don't know Regina King's sun, his sun sign, but usually this represents more of an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. So maybe one of you can check that out for me and leave it in the comment section. The Knight is assertive and rational, but guess what, guys? He can be a little impulsive and impatient, okay? Which confirms that Eight of Staffs Spirit was talking about really kind of sort of trying to think quick or move fast, okay? This card also says that the person, it could represent, someone who's had to fight, okay? They have to fight, okay? Some of the negative about this person is that they have missed opportunities, okay? Missed opportunities. Also being out of control, okay? Sometimes. And I don't know, this card just kind of shows that the individual is kind of like fighting against his own nature, okay? So let's see what Spirit means by that. But that's the problem there, fighting against your own nature, okay? The Moon card comes out. This is in the place of the past. And as I spoke on once before, this card truly represents mood issues, anxiety issues, and issues with mental health, okay? So we can confirm with this Moon card that Spirit is saying there's a message here of having some sort of mental health crisis because this card is in the place of the past. So this just shows like this is this person's pattern, okay? This is how they move. So he struggled with anxiety. He struggled with depression. Okay? That's what that card is telling us. Not just throughout, that's not just what led to this incident, but in the past, that is what he has been dealing with. Okay? So we have another court card coming up. And this card is in the place of the future, okay? As we can see, it's inverted. Another court card. The King of Pentacles tells us in this aspect or this respect, like, inverted this way, okay? That money, of course, is not going to be an end-all, be-all for this person. In fact, it can make their life worse, okay? When we look at the King of Pentacles, this usually represents a male who's ungrounded. He's unsuccessful, okay? He's unstable, has poor judgment, okay? I definitely feel like he has a habit of making some sort of hasty decisions and also has poor judgment, okay? So when we look at what the King of Pentacles is saying, and it's in the place of the future, this is saying, like, this is what took his future away, okay? This is what had him in a space where he was unable to move forward, okay? Sometimes this card has to do with money and how money is being used. And I definitely feel like this says that money was unproductive to him, okay, in his situation. So, he probably didn't see any clarity, okay, in paying for, things like a therapist and stuff. I definitely feel like with this card, he felt like he'd already done those things, and, they definitely didn't place him in a position where he wanted to be, okay? So that is so far what we have. And then the Star card comes up, and that is in the place of the consciousness, okay? In the place of the consciousness, that just represents the way that people are thinking in my spreads, and how that thought process is going to affect them or not affect them. So here we have the Star card. It's inverted. The Star card is really interesting because it kind of brings our attention to hopelessness, to despair, to focusing on the negative, to lack of faith or lack of inspiration, lack of creativity, as well as boredom and monotony. So this card is really saying like this is where his mind, where his mind was. In a reverse position, it indicates that someone feels hopeless, okay? They have difficult situations they have been through in the past, and it's drained their lust for life out of them, okay? That's what this card is representing. This card doesn't indicate like things are really hopeless. It's just like you get caught up in that mindset thinking they are. So that's a mindset of depression. And this card usually indicates that someone needs to seek counseling, like professional counseling, to help them heal past wounds, okay? And it just could signify, losing your confidence, okay? Your belief in yourself and your trust in your own abilities, okay? So remember we talked about here with this Eight of Wands, not really being as accomplished as you want to be, okay? Not really being able to do all the things that you want to do, and kind of sort of rushing at that, like you're not understanding it's going to take time, okay? So I feel like the Star card is like, this is a card of like baggage, okay? But it's like emotional baggage and holding on to it, especially in this reverse position, okay? So his mental health was definitely on the line here, okay? And I feel Spirit saying here, he didn't say anything to anybody about it, okay? Because he wanted to definitely kind of sort of work through it himself, okay? And so he was putting on smiles. He was putting on, airs. And people thought that he was okay. That's what I get from this spread so far. And then the Knight of Wands comes up, okay? So this is a root issue right here. So let's see what Spirit is saying with this root issue here. This card really represents taking action, and being very enthusiastic about your ideas and your plans coming into motion. So again, Spirit is saying the root issue here is rushing in without thinking, and just expecting things to work out. So when you have hardships or challenges, you sort of get disappointed by that, and then you be like, oh, I'm not going to never be able to do what it is that I'm trying to do, okay? As a person, again, the Knight of Wands is an adult male between the ages of 20 and 35 who is rather, well, they have some pretty good qualities about themselves. They're adventurous, charming, energetic, and warm. Okay. But with that, I feel like he has to try to tame himself with this card. Like, he needs to be tamed. Like, he doesn't know how to tame his mind. It goes too fast. It thinks too quick. And I'm almost getting that element here of bipolar as well. Okay, that's what I'm starting to feel. Now, Spirit is giving us another root issue. This is the Four of Swords. I call this the hospital card. This is the hospital card for me, because the Four of Swords always says, like, you need to take rest or solitude. Okay. I definitely feel him honing in on different things that he needs to do. Okay. And being very hard on himself for not doing them or getting them done with this card. Okay. This is also a card of, it kind of says that you need to find, mental strength. Okay. So this is saying, like, everything is run out. You've tried a lot of stuff. But with this card, this is like mental breakdown, burnout. Okay. This card shows that he experienced extreme levels of anxiety, okay, and a sense of restlessness. So that's the spirit. One of his root issues, or the message here, is that this person has extreme levels of anxiety and sense of restlessness, okay? They can't find any type of relaxation, okay? I definitely think he was judging himself very hard and having, a lot of thoughts that magnified his disappointment about what he hadn't completed or he hadn't finished with this card. Okay. So I definitely feel like Spirit is saying here that a root issue of, we have root issues, but if we're not able to just be a little bit easier on ourselves, okay, we can get caught up in a cycle of putting ourselves down, of saying things about ourselves or to ourselves, okay, that just cause us to sink deeper in a disappointment. Okay, so I definitely feel like that's what this hospital card is about. Not more or less needing to take rest, okay, from anything that you're doing, but taking rest from being bombarded by negative thoughts of the self. Okay, now this Eight of Swords, okay, this card here is showing us that the person felt trapped, restricted, or backed into a corner, okay? This card rings of helplessness, of powerlessness, hopelessness, powerlessness, helplessness. This card represents a person being in a crisis, okay, or under pressure, okay. So this card definitely is a confirmation of Spirit saying, yeah, we keep ourselves in that place by negative thinking, okay. Also being paralyzed by fear, okay. The swords around, that means a person can free themselves from it at any time, but only they have the ability to do it. So no one else could have helped him. This was something that he, was definitely so much in his head about, okay. that other people couldn't see it. He put on airs and smiles so nobody would know how he was really feeling or what he was going through, and he held that within himself. So the Hanged Man, this card is in the place of hopes and fears. As I said, this is a crossroads card. Crossroads, which means you have to cross over or be on the other side with this card. It also represents decisions that have to be made. Okay? And unfortunately, his hope was to live, his fear was to die, and he went with the latter. Okay? He went with his fears to free himself. Okay? That is how he felt in his mind. I'm going to free myself from this. And so I feel like Spirit's really on point with this. Definitely he's feeling he doesn't have a good sense of accomplishment. That's what speaks for him and his self-worth. And it bothered him a lot to not have that. And so the Eight of Cups is going to be our future or outcome card, okay? So let's see what Spirit is saying with that Eight of Cups and how that relates to his death, okay? This is the Eight of Cups here, okay? One thing Spirit is saying here is that abandonment or walking away. That's what this card is. This is the card of abandonment or walking away. Okay. Letting go. Okay. Escaping. Okay. That's what this card really means. This can be walking away from people or situations or abandoning your plans. Okay. So that's what Spirit's saying here. This is the outcome. Okay. This card also represents like being tired or being weary, okay? So you feel like you need to make a decision, okay? So Spirit is saying his feelings of being weary, being tired, you know, that made him abandon his plans and walk away from what he knew or from an unknown future, basically. This card also signifies like being lonely. I feel like it's over introspection or looking at yourself too hard, too much self-analysis, and trying to find truth in that. I think this speaks for very black and white thinking. And it shows how, you know, people don't see the gray area in what's happening, okay? So, yeah, he was disappointed within himself and within his accomplishments, okay? He didn't feel like he was worth anything because he was lacking on what it is he was trying to accomplish, okay? He also had mental illness, okay, anxiety, mood disorder. Definitely felt an element of bipolar here, okay. And so, you know, with that being said, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm going to have to say that his mental state is very synonymous with bipolar behavior. Okay, that's that black and white thinking. You think it has to be one way or the other, and you can't seem to find a middle ground. If you could find that middle ground, you would free yourself, okay? But by not finding that middle ground, you find yourself being leery and just kind of fearful in your thoughts, and then also feeling like you're not worth anything, okay? So that is going to be the end of our tarot reading. So we're going to see if Spirit gives us confirmation through the shadow deck. The number's 12. Let us see what Spirit says. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. And I'm just going to pull 3 shadow cards, okay? The temple of my body, that's coming out. Anger and chains, that is coming out, okay? And then also, what else is coming out? Black flower fragrance, okay? So the temple of my body, that is a very interesting, that's a very interesting shadow, because what this shadow does, it makes us feel like we are our bodies, okay, when we are more than that, okay? This represents, like culture making us take distance from what is our corporality. And so many religions and customs, for instance, demonize sex, okay, in many different ways. They lace it with guilt, okay. As an assassin could lace something with poison, lace food with poison. This represents being ashamed, okay, of your body, your sexuality, and not understanding how your body is your temple. So I definitely feel like this is an indicator of him doing like self-abuse, okay, to himself. And when I say self-abuse, I don't mean like you're hitting yourself, but you're putting yourself in situations where other people can use or abuse your body, okay, and make you just really like carnal, okay, make you feel like you're just a body to be used, okay. So that's one of the things that's going on with him. And that card has to do with motivations about your sexuality or your sexual identity, okay. Another card that's coming out is Anger and Chains, okay. Anger and Chains, this is like a card of wanting to break free, and we saw that with the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords in this card is kind of like Spirit is giving us confirmation through here, even though this body card came up about sexuality. We're hitting back to Anger and Chains. And this card basically says anger, okay, is one of your more prominent emotions. And that it definitely controlled his efforts. This card basically says like your reasoning is off, okay? So you'll get angry or you'll get mad and you'll be like a bomb exploding, okay? Because your reasoning and your judgment is off, okay? This card shows, for me, I feel like the person feels like they're a victim, okay? And they're very angry over it. And they can't really contain that anger, okay? And they kind of don't understand it, okay? It's festering in them. And they can't understand, like, why do I have this anger? And how can I get rid of it, okay? Also, like I said, just feeling victimized, okay? Feeling like other people are the cause of it. You know, this is, like I said, just a card of wanting to break free. Being hurt by other people and feeling like you have lost control over it or you have no control over it. I feel like this card says that, you know, you just definitely needed some counseling, because this anger sort of motivated, you know, motivated his mindset. And I definitely feel like Spirit is saying here he thought that this was the only way he could free himself from that was by committing suicide, okay? Which is really sad. I'm really sad for him. And I'm really sad for his mom, because she lost her only son to this, okay? And now the last shadow card that we're going to look at is the Black Flower Fragrance, okay? The Black Flower Fragrance, it's kind of saying how you get the dark side of love, okay? It's really talking about how love can be pretty ugly, pretty selfish, but it's a polarity, okay? It's a polarity. This card says that you do have like the right to be angry, okay? You do have the right to complain. You do have the right to be listened to, okay? And the right to be respected. I just feel like this represents polarity in love and looking for that. I feel like he was looking for love from certain people. And that's not what he got. Okay, he got sprayed with sort of the ugly part of love. Okay, the part that doesn't smell good or feel good. The Black Flower Fragrance. Okay, this motivated him. He wanted to find a better, or the polarity, the other side of love. But I feel like he was really exaggerating with this card. Because I definitely feel like his mom was there to give him love, and she was trying to guide him, okay? I feel like also with this card, cover up. Like, you're covering up, you know, what you really feel, because you want to make people happy. So, one of his demons, okay, was to people please. Okay, that's what this Black Flower Fragrance card represents. People pleasing, but not exactly getting what you want for that people pleasing. Okay? So, you know, he's being motivated by some sexual things. He's being motivated by heightened emotions. And he's being motivated by love and belongingness, the need to fit in. Okay, the need to fit in. Unfortunately, he has made himself an ancestor now and abandoned us, you know, in this reality. As I take a moment of silence for him and for all of us who have ever been in a place where we felt hopeless, helpless, and like freeing ourselves was leaving this plane of existence. Mental health issues that plague us. He has gone on to release himself from this, and he is in a better place. But let us contemplate our reasoning and judgment skills. When we think all has gone bad, we have to have balance. So, I'm going to wrap up this reading, and thank you for watching my videos. I hope you enjoyed this. And we definitely send our condolences to Regina King. And I know that she's going through something none of us want to have to experience, which is the loss of a child. All right. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Have a good day.